I am only taking 50 books with me when I move. Yes, this is serious. I'm moving, as you can probably tell by the boxes behind me, and I'm only able to take like 50 books with me. And today I'm going to show you those books. So I'm moving in with my parents for like 2 to 3 months before going on to my newest apartment. And in those months, most of my things are going into storage, and that includes my books. And therefore, I had to pick out which books I wanted to take with me to be able to read this summer, and these are the selections that I picked. And it's many different genres and moods and page lengths and from different time periods. So I think you can find varying degrees of book recommendations there, and hopefully you get some inspiration for books to read this summer, or maybe you can recommend me which of these to read first. So this is the first crate that I have packed them into. I packed them into 2 of these crates. This is the first one. So we're just going to go through them. Obviously, as this is a lot of books, it's 50 books, I think about. I'm going to keep count somewhere on the screen. We can't really go into them that deeply, but we're just going to get started. I have a lot of classics in this one crate, so that is what we will be going through first. We're going to start with the Penguin Modern Classics, and first we have Weitz Across the Sea by Jean Rhys. This is kind of a fan fiction of Jane Eyre, and it imagines the kind of backstory of one of the characters, and I'm very excited to read this one. I'm not going to say that anymore because I feel like I say that a lot, and obviously I'm excited to read all of these because I bought them, you know. Arrows to Start by Clarice Lispector. I feel like I'm going to have a Lispector summer of some sort, so I have a lot of books by her in the stacks. And next up we have Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. This gives me like spring summer vibes, and I've heard that it's got some queer undertones that you can kind of dissect a bit, which intrigues me. We have 2 Shirley Jacksons. We have The Bird's Nest and then also The Sundial. And I want to read both of these because I have read 2 Shirley Jacksons so far and I absolutely love them. So I want to read more by her, obviously. One I've been putting off for way too long. 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I feel like summer is the only time I can read this one, even though begins with like mentions of ice and stuff. This gives me summer vibes somehow. I don't know. I think so. And then we got Lies and Sorcery by Elsa Morante. This is a new addition to my collection. I have never heard anyone talk about this one, but I'm very excited for this one. And it's a Sicilian modern classic, and it's a generational novel. It talks about different women in this family and about the power of stories and storytelling, which, you know, as a book lover, that always pulls me in. Next, I think, is a modern classic. This is Pedro Paramo. I was recommended this one by a booktuber that I love called Emmy. I think a lot of people know her, so I picked it up. I didn't really need any more convincing other than that. And then we have quite a few of the black classics. These are very, very easy to get a hold of in Norway, so I have a lot of them. The first one is Summer by Edith Wharton. This cover is gorgeous, and obviously it's titled Summer, so I could only read it in summer. Got to follow the rules, I don't make them. Then we got a controversial one, which is The 120 Days of Sodom by Marcus de Sade. Obviously, he was a terrible character, but I feel like reading and seeing how he thinks will be interesting and horrifying, but I think it will be an interesting experience. Fyodor Dostoevsky, I wanted to take more, but I ended up taking one. I think I might have Idiot in here somewhere. I'm not too sure though, if I actually packed it or not. If I didn't, it's too late because I'm not going to open up all of these boxes. The Master and Margarita, it feels more of like a winter novel, but I really want to read it, so I took it with me. The Warden by Anthony Trollope, the first one in his Barchester Towers series. I have somehow amassed quite a few in the series, so I need to start reading it. And this one is short, so I felt like, why not take it with me? And then the project book for the summer, I think, will be Don Quixote by Cervantes. This is, in a lot of places, considered one of the first novels ever. And it's about this delusional knight running around the countryside fighting windmills, and everything about that sounds great. The Lady of the Camellias by Alexander Dumas. I think it's written by Alexander Dumas's son. I did start reading this one, but then I stopped somehow. I don't know why, but I was enjoying it, so I think I just want to finish it. And then the last black classic was The Monk by Matthew Lewis. I am into a bit of the gothic genre at the moment, so this was a must pick for me at this time. Then we have this collection of hodgepodge of books. The Leopard. Never heard about anyone talk about this one, but it seems very, very interesting and feels like it's going to teach me a thing or two about history. So that intrigues me. I think it's set in Sicily. Okay. It's set in the 1860s. It's about Garibaldi's landing in Sicily, and the prince must decide whether to resist the forces of change or come to terms with them. I feel like this is a summer read in my mind. I also have this nonfiction, which is The Beauty Myth, which I think it talks about beauty, the concept of beauty, and especially beauty connected to women, and how it is expected in women, and what it's done to us. I don't know. I am very into like feminist nonfiction at the moment. Just learn, especially like historical feminist nonfiction, and just learning about thoughts and how they have evolved during the times. And then I have this one, which is The Door by Magda Sabo, which I would say is a modern classic as well. She is a Hungarian writer, and I've heard nothing but great things about this author, so had to pick it up. As you can tell, I'm not giving any in-depth like um, descriptions of any of these, and that is because I don't know. I want to go into them blindly, and there's a lot, and I feel like if I start talking, I won't shut up, and we'll be here forever. But now we start getting into more modern books and different genres. Here we have like 3 different genres already. No Matter What by Cara Baston is a romance. It's more a literary romance, but I adored this author's first book. I have the second book that she wrote on my June TBR, and I would like to read this one this summer. I feel like she could do no wrong, even though I've only read one book by her so far, so that might be trying to push it before I can try her out, but in my eyes, I feel like I can feel it that I will love her work no matter what she writes. The Homemade God is a literary fiction or a general fiction about family, and I think it's also set in Italy. So we get kind of the descriptions of the Italian coastline. I feel like that is very summer in my mind. I don't know. I just realized that I have a lot of books that kind of takes place in Italy some way or somehow. We got a fantasy, The Bone Ships by R.G. Barker. This is a nautical book, but ships, the ships are made of bones from mythical creatures. That's all I know. And I am kind of currently reading the Life Ship trilogy, so I think that maybe nautical fantasy could be my jam this summer. We got this stack. We are almost done with the first crate, so we're almost halfway. The X Vows, another romance. I've heard that this one is perfect for the summertime, and I've had this one on my shelf for way too long because my romance mood, it comes and goes. It's very delicate. Like I have to pick them out at the right time. So I've been kind of careful because I think I will enjoy this one if I read it at the right time. The Book That Held the Heart by Mark Lawrence. This is the third book and final book in his library trilogy. I absolutely adore Mark Lawrence and everything that he writes, so I do need to finish off the trilogy. And then I brought I brought 2 books that I have already read because I think I might want to reread them this summer. The first one is Live With Me by Philip Passan, kind of autobiographical, very, very sad, queer, devastating, and it's short. And if I'm brave enough, I will reread it this summer. I don't know if I will be in a mental headspace to do that, but I might do. And then the other one that will be a reread is Untold Day and Night. I feel like this will be perfect to read in a heat wave, and I didn't read it during like a warm weather the first time, so I want to experience it again during like very, very warm weather. These are the last few in the first grade. Another nonfiction is Woman Who Ran with the Wolves. People preach this as a Bible, and I want to see what the fuss is all about. I don't think I'll finish this one. Maybe I'll start it. I think this is a book that you take your time with. Another fantasy is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. It's the first one in a very, very big 10 book, big, long fantasy series, and it's Malasan. It's so beloved all over the internet. I'm kind of intimidated, but I do. If I get the feeling of wanting to sink into a big fantasy world, this will be on top of the list. The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, a mystery Victorian novel, gothic kind of. I heard that it's got a lot of plot twist. It's intriguing. And then we have North and South, another Victorian novel. Don't know why I picked this one. I just did because it was not. It was kind of tiny and it fit into the crate, so I took it with me. And then the last one in this crate is Outline by Rachel Cusk. I've heard a lot of good things about Rachel Cusk and her writing in the literary fiction, general fiction space. And it's, I think that people say that her books or her works embodies summer, so it's high up on the list as well. So that was the first grade, and we're now going on to the second one. In this one, we got more modern books. I got a few classics, and then we got my boyfriend's picks because I have recently been able to convince him to become more of a reader, and he picked out a few books that he wanted to read. So I'll show you those as well, but I will not be reading those most likely because I have read quite a few of them already. Let's start with two ancient classics, shall we? Will I be able to read both of them? Probably not, but the goal is to read at least one of them. We have the Divine Comedy by Dante. Do I need to introduce this one? The same goes for the Odyssey by Homer. Two ancient poems that I would like to read. I have read the Iliad, and now I want to kind of finish the holy trifecta of ancient great poems. I guess you can kind of finish off the classics, kind of modern classics, I guess. We have more Clarice Lispector. We have A Birth of Life, which I think is the last one she wrote. It was published posthumously or after she died. And then also The Passion According to GH. As I said, I would like to read quite a bit of Lispector this summer, so these two are in the bag. And then the last classic that I got is Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I have never read any Woolf. A lot of people recommend beginning with Mrs. Dalloway, but I think I'll start my journey with Orlando because this is the one that intrigues me the most. We have also a Dawn May here. This is Realms of Filth, Volume 2. I love the first volume, and I do like a good Dawn May every now and then, so this will be going with me. I had more Dawn May on my shelves, but I was like, I couldn't bring too many books, so this is the one that I decided to take with me, and I think I could read some of them online if I suddenly change my mind. We also have a Norwegian book. This is Tranene fly mot sør, or When the Cranes Fly South. I think that might be the English title. This is originally written in Swedish, but it's been translated to Norwegian, and Swedish and Norwegian are so similar languages that I felt like I had to read it in Norwegian. And it's about growing old and the challenges it brings and reflecting on your life and the relationships you have with family. I feel like I'm going to cry. And also Fredrik Backman, he blurbed this book, which was an instant selling point for me, at least. We also have Haruki Murakami. This is two books actually. This is Hear the Wind Sing, which is his first book, and then on this side we have Pinball 1973, which is his second book, and these are interconnected standalones. And I really wanted to read Wild Cheap Chase, but that is the third book in this interconnected standalone series, so I got this one so I could get to the Cheap Chase one. I have tried Murakami before, but I read it when I was so young that I couldn't really understand what I was reading, so I can't really judge my taste of him. We got two more literary fictions. I love the cover of this one. This is so old, so young. It deals a lot about friendship and growing up, I believe. I want to go into these ones as blindly as I can. And then we have the names, which I bought on sale, and this kind of ask the questions, does a name shape who a person is? And we see three different timelines or three different possibilities of how this person's life would turn out depending on three different names. Which sounds intriguing, but I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but I can't help but try it out, you know? We got some more fantasy. I have book 1 and 2 in the Tournament trilogy. I don't own Live Ship Traders trilogy, but I'm reading them from the library. But I felt like I should have these in case I want to continue the series, or if I finish it and I want to continue the Realm of the Eldings. So I just brought these two just in case. And then the last fantasy book that I brought was the Blackfire Blade. This is the second book in a new fantasy series. I don't know if it will be a trilogy or not, but this feels like a classical fantasy, and I very, very much enjoyed the first one, so I was like, I need to support the author and buy the second one, and I want to read it. Okay, we got three more picks that I picked out. We got Pride and Prejudice. I have not read this one before, and I feel like that might be a crime, so we're going to rectify, hopefully, that this summer. And we got a non-fiction, which is Nobody's Girl. I think this will be a heavy non-fiction to read. It's about Virginia Robert Jeffrey's experience with Epstein and everything. She is one of the people that was loudest voice when it came to calling him out, but she sadly passed away last year, and this was published after her death. She did work with the person that wrote this to get this one written, and she wanted this one to be published even though she died. And then the last pick I have is My Friends by Fredrik Backman, one of my favorite authors. I have not read this one yet because I've been scared, but this summer hopefully will be the time that I read it. Okay, so the only thing we have left to go through is my boyfriend's picks. This is his stack. I'm just going to quickly show them what he was intrigued by. We had The Stranger by Albert Camus, Chess by Stephen Zweig, Boredom by Alberto Moravia, The Master and Margarita by Bulgakov, Aqua Viva by Clarice Lispector. He has read Near to the Wild Heart and he absolutely loved it, so he wanted more. I have already read that one, but he will probably pick out a few of the other respecters that I included earlier. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and then lastly Dune by Frank Herbert. So that is all the books that I had picked out to go with me. It was hard. I also have my Dune TBR, and I'm maybe if there are some left, I might bring those as well if I have space. I don't know. It's hard to choose. So obviously, as you can see, I brought like 50 books or something. It's way too much. But I like to have choices. I think this video has been long enough as it is, so we're just going to leave it there. But thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.